Okay, we are live. Let me hit that. Have to make room for my comments. So we're live here to discuss the newest Hannah movie, which I am so excited about. But while everybody arrives, or if anybody arrives, we'll give it
It might just be us.
I
Like
know.
the last 25 years.
Right. I know. We're comfortable with that, right?
Yeah,
I love that. Hi, Chip.
Yep. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I spent the day trolling Twitter and Facebook to see all the comments about the movie. And I watched the movie. I watched most of the movie again. And Susan is here. Hi, Susan.
Hi,
I watched
Susan.
most of the movie again because I was too busy tweeting at Barbara Niven, who's now my new BFF.
I know. I love her.
To really pay attention. There were definitely things I missed. And I guess we're going to talk about things we loved and things I wish that had been done a little differently.
Right. And then
it's been 5 years. And what I said to you last night, or maybe this morning, I don't know, we talked 100 times in the last 2 days, that even if it was bad, and it wasn't bad, even if it was bad, seeing those characters again was better than not seeing them.
I know. I was so happy.
Think about the last season of a show where it really bombed. You still wanted to be with those characters.
Sure. When wanted them to come back. So we did a little quiz. I'm going to give it to you, Chip. Okay.
Well, should we wait till 8? Because we told people to.
Okay. Well, I thought we'd do the quiz before, but that's fine.
That before people come in.
Yeah.
So I made my notes. I definitely have some feelings about this. And I don't know, when I go back to work, I'm out on medical leave and I'm working at home, but when I'm in my office, I don't know if I'm sure I'll make time to watch, to do this. Yesterday, I watched all 5 movies. Mm-hmm. I watched Mystery 101 again. And I'm home. So I made 2 pies on Saturday. And I let people know I made pies. I had 5 visitors in different times, like staggered. I think only 2 overlapped for a minute. And I was sitting here in my living room, and I had Hallmark movies and mysteries on. And usually I'll be polite and mute it. And I did for the most part. Then I was watching one night. I'm like, wait, I got to see this scene. Because I don't remember this. Especially, and then I definitely had to rewatch the scene. I know we're not supposed to crosstalk to other series.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna
I know when I'm
gonna mute you now.
When the woman talked about Travis being Amy's boyfriend, because every movie, a friend of mine was here and watching it, and I said I got to see his reaction, because in almost every single movie, somebody refers to him as her boyfriend, and they fall over each other to deny it, and he didn't.
And they made a meme out of it.
And they made a meme out of it, right? Where his little smirk.
I want to say hi to Susan. So Susan, thank you for always leaving me such lovely comments on my channel. I look forward to hearing from you. I wrote down some notes because I'll be giving you some shout outs in my next When Calls the Heart shout out video, which I think I have it scheduled the way it falls. It's going to wind up being, I forgot now. I wrote it down somewhere now. I don't even remember if it's the last weekend of August or not. I think I wrote it in a comment somewhere. I'll have to look.
No, I'll be home over Labor Day weekend, by the way.
I know. I can't wait to see you.
Susan, where are you from?
Just typing.
To type in there. Yeah. But I'll be home I'll be in the area, in our hometown area, the 3rd to the 6th. I come down the 1st and I leave the 7th, but
they know where I live.
I'm going to stay in Philadelphia one night in, one night out, because I want to see Iowa. I have a good friend from Decorah, Iowa. So I'm going to see Scott and some friends on that night that I get there, and then the night I head out. And I like to time it with the trains. So, okay, it's 8:00. We can get started.
All right. So I'm going to give you the quiz, okay?
I saw the questions. I don't remember. I know I don't know all the answers.
Okay. You usually know all of them. So here we go. So the first one, I know you know the answer to this because we love this and we laugh about it all the time. So in the movies, how did Mike and Hannah first?
Oh my God. I watched it yesterday. I love it when she's in the dumpster and she's got that French fry thing on her back that stays
She likes.
on. And he's like, ma'am, do you need any assistance? And that was great. And it's funny because Cameron Matheson and Allison Sweeney did Good Morning America one day last week. And they actually talked about that scene, about how he didn't know her that well at that point. And that was their first big scene. Apparently they filmed that one in order.
Okay.
And, that was their first big scene together, and how it was just like really getting to know each other. So
it was like authentic.
It was authentic, yes. And then she's like, "Welcome to Eden Lake."
I know, because she turns around and she walks away, and it's stuck to her back. He says nothing, and when she comes back, she says something, and she goes, and welcome. Well,
Philly Hallmark guys here. Oh, he loves that they implied there's a shelter in Eden Lake. He said Hallmark, but there's no homeless people in Eden Lake, or Lake Eden as they're now called.
Well, someone talked about that, Chip. Someone said on one of our sites that I belong to, I think it was the actual, the Hannah Mysteries, where they were like, did you notice they said Lake Eden and then Eden Lake, and someone put really? And then they were saying that in the books, and I would have to go back to look at this. Maybe one of you that are watching know about this, that the place is Eden, Lake Eden, but then when they're talking about the lake itself, it's Eden Lake, something like that.
I went back and watched it today. And on the municipal building, it says Lake Eden, but it was always the Eden Lake Cookbook, the Eden Lake Children's Hospital, the Eden Lake this, the Eden Lake that. So I don't know why they made that change. I mean, Joanne Fluke owns the rights to the books, and I know there's a different production company. That's why it changed from Murder, She Baked. So maybe there was a legal reason. I don't know, but all
right, ready for the question?
What's the second question?
Here's the second question. So the second one was a kind of tricky for some people. So the first locked mystery, it's from the books. So which one was a locked mystery, like a locked room mystery, where they were not all in the same room, but they were in the same
place? Was it that Christmas one where they were stuck in the gym?
And I thought it was the community center.
It might have been the community center, but it was it took place. The whole book took place over one afternoon into evening. Yeah.
The sugar cookie mystery.
That was probably the first one I read, because I collect Christmas murder mysteries.
Yes.
And that was probably the first one I read.
You got it. Ding, 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 ding. You got that right too. Okay. So it was the sugar cookie mystery. So number 3 is the cat. What's her name?
Moisha. Yeah.
And in the book, he's got one big eye, right? One eye, and the other one, because she was like a mystery.
Well, in the book, Hannah's a redhead, so we have to let that go.
Okay. All right. So who was Ross?
Ross Barton was the man that Hannah married in, I forget which book, but it was only over the course of 2 or 3 books.
Yeah.
And it was a shocker. It was a shocker.
It was.
When I read the preview of that book before it came out on Amazon, it said Hannah Swensen's getting married. And I'm thinking, oh, great. She finally picked Mike.
Me too.
But it was funny because in the books, and I said this on Twitter last night, in the books, I was all for Norman. And in the movie, because I thought Mike was a little bit cocky. But in the books, and look, it was by design because they wanted Cameron Matheson.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely Team Mike there. Mr. Kingstone, as Dolores referred to him.
All right. And then the last one was her vanity plate. What does it say on her vanity plate?
Oh, cookies with a Z.
Yeah. And it's cute because only one person that I saw that got it correct, and her name was Christina Hazard. Now, Christina, I don't know if you're here, but congratulations. You answered all of them correct. What do you get? This is what you get. Yay! Thank you for playing my game.
I didn't think I would. I read them today and I didn't know them all. But then I remembered there was a scene, and I watched every single one of these movies yesterday. And there was a couple scenes where you saw cookies. It's just a different car in every movie. I mean, there's a lot of production.
Before we get started though, don't you love that John Fluke, her son? Now Fluke is, I think that's the name that she used when she writes, but her son was on there and he did a post.
I saw that.
People were, writing underneath it, which was nice and sweet. I like that, because we were connected. Okay, so
sometimes the writers just sell the rights to the books and go away,
and they don't. They're there.
It seems like she's a little bit involved. And really, I watched 2 Facebook Lives last week. One with Allison Sweeney with Barbara Niven, and one with Cameron Matheson. Plus, the Good Morning America, and they mentioned her in every single one. And I got to imagine that they jumped through some hoops to get this movie made, because it's been 5 years. They promoted the heck out of it in a way I really have never seen on Hallmark.
Yeah.
And and I think they have a lot into it, and it seems like they enjoy them, and we enjoy them, so we can't be the only ones. And they run them all the time, so they have to perform well for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So I hope I put I think my last tweet was to them last night. I said, I hope you get a call tomorrow. The Hallmark wants more of these, because while they weren't perfect, it was still a nice visit.
Yeah, but they were really good. I love them. Okay, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I liked. So one of the things that I really love is that, in my mind, I feel like Barbara does a great job of portraying the mom. Like, I know that when I read the books, I would get aggravated because the mother was like such a brat, and she plays that so well. I love when she like licks her finger and wants to like.
Well, if you remember, Andrea was a brat too.
She was,
yes. Was actually a bad mother.
Yeah. So I know, but I love her, what she's doing. I love how she wants to be the center. And that's kind of like it is in the book too. So to me, it's almost like she walked off the page, and there she
always she wears those dresses that accentuate her cleavage,
her hair done and all that lipstick on. So Barbara, we love you. We love you. We love you, Barbara. I want to get a t-shirt, I think, that Barbara has. I think it's her stuff, because you want to buy the right merch.
And she really engages. I mean, that was, I mean, I know it's just Twitter, but she really engages. And I have to believe it was really her doing it and not some underling. I want to do something before I said this last week. First of all, I heard you all about the blanket, and I'm wearing a hoodie and I'm still freezing. So I said that I would make baked goods. So I made fudge cupcakes from the fudge cupcake murder, which I forget what the name of the movie was, but it was the one when the sheriff was murdered. And I made these today, and I was following the recipe, and it didn't quite sit right. And I remembered, and Joe always says, you can't call it Hannah's cookies or Hannah's cupcakes unless you follow Hannah's recipe.
Yeah.
So, but then I remember that voiceover in one of the movies where Hannah says it's up to the baker to put her own twist on it. Yeah. So what I did was I followed the recipe. I added a tablespoon of espresso powder, which I always do because it brings out the chocolate flavor. And this red on top, I'm trying to
it's there. We got it. You got it right in the
middle. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
It's not. I mean, it looks like the colored sugar, like you use. It's actually raspberry powder, because if you remember, the secret ingredient was Mrs. Kohler's raspberry syrup.
Yes. So because they were trying to. That's the episode where they were giving their recipes and they couldn't figure it out, and they all loved their cupcakes, but there was a secret ingredient, and they kept trying to figure it out. So you have it, Chippy, right?
I'm going to try it.
I love chocolate and raspberry.
Everybody in my office is going to get, I'm making it a sojourn into my office tomorrow to give them out.
And you're going to give them out? Okay, I'm going to get back to my lights.
Get back to your stuff.
All right, so I do love the mom. And then I love the chemistry that's still going on with Norman and Hannah. I feel like they really are making their friendship believable. I know some people think that maybe it's more than like just being friends, but I like it. I think it's believable. I think they genuinely respect each other.
Well, I like that he gave her space.
Yes. But I like that he's still there, and he helps around.
He's a little desperate.
Oh, I don't think he's desperate. I like it.
I don't know. Those tips just cry desperation at his age.
Okay. So Kathleen Carollo, she said that she was wondering if, in her mind, I saw her on one of our sites. She's like, are you sure that Hannah's 100% into this engagement? She didn't think so. And I really do, because I felt like she tried. She wanted to they were so busy. She put on that pretty yellow dress. She made dinner for them. And he's like, oh, I would like it to be romantic. And she whips out the candle. I'm thinking, is that going to set off the fire alarm?
Well, here's my thoughts on the engagement.
Well, I'm
And
not done, so you can
uh,
hold your thoughts. All right, and then what else? Oh, okay. This is something else that I love. I love that they put the new sister in, and because they never talked about her before. I'm not saying that she was perfect, but I love that they introduced her in, especially because the other sister disappeared. And
and
I
even
felt
the
like this,
implication that Mike's already met her.
yes,
It
like
wasn't like, oh, so nice to meet you. It's like
yes,
he knew her.
exactly. And I was like, oh yay, because in our minds, life goes on until the next, installment. 5 years went by, but they said it was only 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, they made sure they said that. So those are some of the things that I loved. What's some of the stuff you loved?
Well, I just want to make a comment about the engagement.
Go ahead.
When they got in the last movie, the one with the basketball coach, um, which one was that? The one with the basketball, the last one before this, the fifth one. There was a scene at the very end when they were at Palliotti's going to their engagement party. That to me felt like they went back after they finished the movie and put that scene on just to give them a happy ending because they didn't think they were going to be making any more. So I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with the engagement.
Yeah.
Because that's my thoughts because I know how
Okay.
television
I
works.
see what you're saying to sort of give us like a happy
Yeah,
ending.
right.
But I'm glad though they listened and they brought everyone back. So I'm looking in the comments to see if anybody is sharing something that they loved.
Scott wants a cupcake.
Okay, Scott, you want a cupcake.
And he thinks that Norman is desperate.
And Norman is desperate, but you love that, Scott, that he's desperate. Susan, I don't know.
And Scott,
All
you're
right.
welcome to come get cupcakes anytime you want.
Now tell us some stuff you like, Jeff.
Some stuff I like. I like again, like last week. The cast was very diverse, which you don't really see in Hallmark.
That's
I mean,
true.
It was really. I'm not going to
They're
get myself
stepping
in
it up.
trouble by naming groups, but they
Yeah, they are. They're
cast.
stepping it up.
They always say in the Mary Lou Henner always says it, and they always say, "Oh, the movie, the relationship's good, but the mystery's so good," and it never is. But this one was. I mean, this was better than most. I mean,
yeah.
And I didn't pay super close attention because I was tweeting, but I have a cupcake on my tweet. So I thought they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I wanted more of that Regency ball.
Mm-hmm.
I like
likes, no dislikes.
Okay.
Dislikes.
I like Michelle.
Why did you like her? What did you like about her? Like,
well, I like that she kind of was, as she was Hallmark adversarial to her mother.
Yeah,
they didn't like butt heads, but she's like, "Oh, I'm not staying with mom," and she called her mom. And Andrea and Hannah always called her mother, so I found that a little interesting.
Yeah.
Scott wants to know why it was so hard to find a cream puff recipe. I had a friend whose mother, and I'm not Roxanne. You know who I'm talking about.
I know.
Don't say her name. She made. I'm not giving her any free publicity. She made cupcakes, and everybody raved about these cupcakes, and they were lousy. So it is hard to make cream puffs. That's why I made the fudge cupcakes.
Mm.
What else did I like? I liked a lot of the shots, the outside shots. I like the gym, the inside, the interior stuff with the gym. I love that sauna scene. I liked Mike's new partner. I like how she softened up at the end. She let him go home.
Yeah,
I'll take care of the paperwork because I'm an old maid.
And Chip. Oh my God.
And I liked there was a lot to like about this movie. I have a couple.
I have a question. So you were saying that you like the sauna, you like the gym. And I do see different things in the chat. My eye sees it, and I will address all those things. I promise. I'm just trying to be organized in my teacher fashion here. So, do you think that looks so realistic? I don't think it was a set. I feel like that was a real building.
I wonder if it was cheaper. Because I'm an accountant, so my mind always goes to money.
Yes.
I wonder if it was cheaper for them to rent out a gym.
Yes. In that building.
In that building. film it, the interiors there, because they had a pool, right? They had the hot tub,
Yes.
they had the
Yes.
sauna, and then the exteriors. I mean, you get a permit from the town to shut down the
Right.
street. So,
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The exteriors of Eden Lake were not what we're used to,
Yeah.
and so
We
you
have
know
some
that's
pluses and minuses with that, though.
yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Well,
the bakery was totally different,
yeah.
and I wish they had a line where that she moved to a new location.
And or upgraded her
Yeah,
location
business
or
was so
something.
good. I had to move down the block and
Right.
into this
Right.
old warehouse, and
Right.
because she had all those people working there, except for Michelle sat on the counter, which made me crazy for with my
All right.
food
So
background.
before we roll into, because we're getting into the things that
I
we
know.
thought were misses. No, I want to go back to one little thing, Chip. The part about like one of the things that I love that made I thought that maybe this was a real gym or a real place. Usually when I watch these, it's Hallmark, it's fun. I don't get nervous, but I told you I was nervous in that scene where her back was against that tile wall and the killer was looking for her. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this, you shouldn't be here. Like plug your ears. So he was like trying to find her and her back was there. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a Hallmark movie. It's going to be okay. But I was like waiting. I thought they did a good job of that. And he was looking. Yeah.
Scott's asking if it looks like the same set as there was a Hallmark bridal boot camp. So, I mean, they probably do share a lot of set.
I don't know, Scott. I'm going to look that up because I love looking at that. I know Bridal Boot Camp, but I'm going to have to look it up and see.
Because,
okay.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they're sharing.
Do we have anybody with their likes, or I see other stuff and I will get there. Okay. All right. So are you ready to roll into things that we thought that were missed?
Oh, yes.
You go ahead.
Okay.
You take the lead.
I missed Andrea and Bill.
Oh, I agree.
I missed the old ladies at the bakery.
I did too. I put them as the matriarchs. You call them the old ladies.
Well, they're the
and they kibitz.
And I met the mayor. You know, all those minor characters that you get to know.
Because it felt like a real place, right?
It felt like a real place, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't like, they showed the exterior of the bakery and it was a building by itself when it used to be part of a downtown.
Yes.
And, well, I told Roxanne our hometown has a nice little charming downtown.
Yes.
And I said it's the difference between Hamilton, our hometown, and Cherry Hill, which is another town maybe half an hour away, that's more spread out and more populated and you really have to drive everywhere.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it's not better or worse. It was just different. The municipal building, it was different. The new sheriff, they could have said, it's only been 6 months. So a lot of changes happened in 6 months.
Like Bill and Andrea, what about they had a kid, they left, and I'm like, where are they? I miss them.
Yeah, one grandchild. And she didn't even mention Bill. She just said Andrea has a new job in Seattle.
And nothing about her grandbabies.
And nothing about Tracy.
Yeah.
Tracy Hannah. It was funny because I watched them all yesterday, and I always end up crying at some point in these movies. And she at the last movie, which the name I can't remember, the one with the basketball coach.
Yes.
Was murdered. She had a voiceover. Mike had a scene with his wife's sister.
Yes.
In Paliades, and Hannah saw him and didn't know that it was his sister-in-law.
Yes.
And he's talking to her about how life changes in a second.
Yeah.
And then Hannah does the voiceover at the end, really talking about when they take the station manager away and how this kid's life has changed in a second. She did this whole, and I wish I'd written down word for word, but she had her voiceover at the end when they're taking Mason away. It's the same as Lydia, how life changes in a second. And then the next scene, she says they were under the umbrella, and she says, yes, yes to everything. Yes to us. Yes to and it was just like one of those moments. And it was
good. It was like,
although I gotta say with that movie, I was, that was my Frank from Christmas Detour, and they made him the killer.
I know, and they made him run funny when he was running. And you love Frank. You love Frank. I know.
And he was a victim on Aurora, and he was a killer in, and it's funny because Bill from Hannah he was a victim in Aurora, and he was a victim in Gourmet Detective, which had a
Yes, we
marathon on
get to see
Saturday.
our friends all the time. So, was there anything else you didn't like? Because I wanted to
No,
talk about
I'm pretty
something.
easy to entertain. I'm just, I when I was working in soaps, it was never about the story. The first, if you worked there and you said it was about the story, you know what you're talking about. It's about the characters.
Yes.
We love Hannah, we love Mike, we love Dolores. We love Lisa, and like I said, we love the characters that we didn't get to see. The
Yes.
thing I didn't like, we didn't meet anybody last night that I'm going to love. That's going to replace those
Any
people.
of them,
Michelle,
yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
There,
I
there
like
were no,
Michelle. Yeah.
yeah, but there were no other ancillary characters. There was no new Andrea, no new Mrs. Hauser, no new Mayor,
Yeah.
and that was a little bit,
Maybe they will be though with the like they'll see how we receive it with the reception of what,
yeah. I'm interested. I would love to be in the executive offices of Hallmark today,
like a fly. A
just
fly.
to hear what they're saying, because they're reading Twitter, they're
Yes.
reading
Yes, they
Facebook.
are. They
I mean,
are.
in my
I
day,
love
when I
it.
worked in soaps, they read the fan mail.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, I know.
And
I
it took
helped you with that.
Roxanne helping me with fan mail.
Bags.
It took
People, bags came.
it took weeks for that to
Weeks, months.
right. So they know today, and
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see whether they order more. And my guess is, Allison Sweeney she's not dumb, and she's put a lot into this.
Barbara too.
I mean, I think Allison as producer, I think really put a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that Chronicle Mysteries is coming back. I haven't seen anything about that. I don't think that resonated with the fans the way Hannah does. And look, it's food. People love food. It's comfort.
Well, you know what?
Small
Speaking of
town.
food, I want to talk about the kitchen. Did you said something and then I noticed something. So if she used to have her beautiful little bakery, boutique-ish, loved it. Then all of a sudden she's out there on the phone and behind her, she's got this whole crew.
She's got a production. It's a factory.
Working for her. It was like an industrial type.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, we should be addressing this. I know it frees her up to be her old self, but I'm like, that was such a change, and it was weird. It almost felt like Hannah wasn't Hannah when I saw that.
Unless like they needed a line, just like they said, Andrea loves her new job in Seattle.
Yes.
Oh, I moved to this new, business is booming. I have a lot of corporate accounts. I have to, we need a new space. That would have, and they could have made it a year. It didn't have to be 6 months. It could have been a year that all these things happen.
Do you have a wish list? I have one. It's not very long, but I do have a wish list. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Anybody? Well, hold up. Did anybody put anything that they didn't like? I didn't see anything like that there. All right.
One other thing I didn't like, and I get that there could be more, before we get letters, like we did about my blanket. There was that whole scene in the florist.
I know. I'm going to talk about the pen.
And the history of Hannah, the other florist was dating Norman's mother, and they were going to get married. So I guess the answer is there's two florists in Eden Lake or Lake Eden.
I know, and we should have had the one. And there was that pen. So this is what I liked. Ordinarily, they would have introduced that pen, and it would have been several people who had the pen. And then we would have tried to narrow it down and say, oh, the pen. As soon as you and I are on the phone, like texting, and we're watching it, and she goes, oh, that pen, I like that pen. And you're like, oh, it's the pen. And we're like, yep. But they
no, as soon as she said she had a sign for her ring, right?
Yes.
And he said, let me give you the pen.
And she
we didn't have to say it. Right.
We're like, okay, that's it. Okay.
And she has no poker face. Like he knew that she knew right then.
It was kind of creepy. That started the creepiness, and and then
he was kind of creepy.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that.
He was kind of creepy. At first, I liked him. I wanted him to be like the young cop in Aurora, who we don't know anything about.
He's cute. He was a cutie.
Yeah, he was cute. And maybe he was the boy in the florist shop's boyfriend, for all we know.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like to create the backstory.
I know you love backstory.
I know. I want.
It's like fan fiction.
Yeah, it is. I have a whole life.
That's the writer in you.
I have the whole off-camera life for the folks on Aurora. Like
that's our alarm that we're not going to hold you much longer. So
Philip, Philip and the young cop are having a little fling on.
Okay. All right.
I know.
All right.
Well, we have Aurora in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna.
Well, we're not leaving yet. I want to talk about real quick, and then I want to address some of the questions. One wish list. So here's my number one wish list. They need to come back and soon. I'm not waiting 5 more years. I don't even feel like waiting a year. Couldn't they give us something at the end of this year? I don't know, but or the beginning in January. I'm waiting for something good, and they should give us a good Christmas one maybe. And then
Well, there are about 4 between full-length books and short stories. There's about 4.
Yes,
And they
so
want to
I
do
think
it. I
we
mean,
could.
Allison Sweeney was all over the place last week saying we want to do more.
Good.
Joanne has 30 books in this series.
Yes. And then the other thing is, I want them to still be engaged. I don't want them to rush into a marriage yet. I want the engagement to drag on a little bit more, but doesn't drag on. Like, give them a hiccup up somewhere, a good one. And I'm not saying break them up. And
Right. Something that they get cheat on each other or anything.
No, it's Hallmark.
Like,
Goodness.
he's got to go do training in Saskatchewan for 6 months, or she has to go do she's teaching a baking class, something that, or somebody gets sick, something like that keeps them. That's why I bet if they had to redo it, they wouldn't have made them engaged, because even though she clearly was choosing Mike over Norman in that last movie, because he was dating the single mom, the basketball mom, and I think getting them engaged might have been pushing it a little bit.
Okay. So the other thing I liked was the mystery part. The part they did try to make
it was pretty good,
a little more difficult, and I like the part, and I want to see more of this. I want to see where they have all these little characters that they pull in, like the ex-husband of the victim, or soon to be ex-husband, and it really looked like there was more to him. And as they figured out what he was up to, and I think that they had a private detective and all of that. I love how all those little pieces came out, and it made you think, and it challenged you, because I'm the type of person that looks at every little thing and wants to analyze. And I love that, like it was more of a challenge this time. I think they did a good job with it. And the other thing is, here's on my wish list. I need to see Andrea and what is it? Her husband went out of my head. His name. Bill. Thank you. I need to see them together. His name went right out of my head. I need for them to be back.
He's like Mr. Hallmark. I've never seen her in anything else, but I've seen him in a million things.
Okay.
Norman's going to snap. That would be.
We want him to have a love life. All right. So let's look at what we have here. So Philly guy thinks that Norman's going to snap. He's not going to snap. He needs you're just hilarious, Mr. Philly guy. He needs he needs a love interest. And Chip said, what if it was the guy at the flower shop, right?
Maybe that's why he can never get it on with Hannah.
Yeah, maybe they're too much of good friends.
Look, Hallmark's it's
very much diversity.
Yes. They need to do it. Billy and Adam.
He said she had the recipe in the book on the first scene in the first episode. You mean the recipe for the cream puffs? I feel like they just didn't turn out. Like, she couldn't get them not to be dry. And if you have a cream puff recipe, even though it's in front of you and you make it, it's so hard to get the baking right and then not make them dry. I think that's what it was.
That's why I made cupcakes.
My tinderbox, I'm going to address you in 1 minute. I'm just going up to see what else. I wanted to say, let's see, like Amy and Travis, he's saying. I'm just going up. I don't know if I'm missing anybody up here. I can't. Trying to move my thing up and it's not working. Okay, so my tinderbox, we're almost finished. So I'm going to address you. It says, off topic, I'm not on Facebook. How do I go about donating to the Chris McNally Dog Rescue Fund? Please address this when you have time and it makes sense for you. Oh, it makes sense now. So thank you for subscribing, by the way. I saw you subscribed. I'm trying to think. Okay, I know how you could do it. If you are on Instagram and you go on to Christina, and I'm not sure if you know who Christina is. She is the admin that runs Chris McNally's page. If you go into her bio, the link is there. I couldn't put it up in mine because I already have something there. And then it's all over Twitter. So I don't know if you have a Twitter account, because I tweeted some things out today and I can do that again. If you're still here, if you want to let me know in the chat box, I will definitely make sure there's a link coming your way. No one else is talking but me and the bot. Who's the bot? There's no bot. Chip can do it. Leave Billy now. You know what, Mr. Philly guy, you're a pain in the neck there. All right, but I like you. But you're a pain in my neck. Okay, so I don't know if that answered your questions, but I'll find you and I will get your answer to you. All right, Chip, how do you want to end before we say goodbye?
I did have another thought, and now I forget what it was. It was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You know me. We got to be like
the thing. They just people send emails to Hallmark, tweet at Hallmark, do whatever if you want to see more of any of these. Look, we get 2 or 3 Auroras a year, and we get. Meanwhile, we haven't gotten a new Gourmet Mystery, but Gourmet Detective, they haven't made one in 3 years. Yet they had a marathon, so I don't know.
Chris McNally was on it the other night. I love him. His character was so cute.
Who'd he play?
He played. He was like one of the sons. So they had like
the one where Bill was the victim.
Yes.
So and I love Dylan Neal. I've always loved Dylan.
Yeah. You're okay. My tinderbox, is that how I would find you on Instagram or Twitter, or do you have a different name? I'm not sure, but I will look for you this way if you needed me to. I know it's not always the same when you cross over the different social media. Okay, so I forgot what I was going to tell you. Oh, yes, I'm on Twitter. I'm not good at it. I put stuff out there. Nobody sees it nor finds it. I had somebody stumble across something that I did, and she's like, look at this. Did you see this? And then someone else said, yes, she does this and this. And I'm like, I didn't know about it, and I am very new. Hi, Christina. So my tinderbox is asking, and I'm telling her to go to your Instagram account, and also we tweeted out the link. So we're going to look for her, and I'll redo it again. And she or he, I don't know what my tinderbox is. I don't know. Or they, I don't know what pronoun you use. We'll look for you and you can look for us.
I remembered what I was thinking of.
Go ahead, say it before we close.
I wonder what would happen. It's probably not practical for it to turn into like a Murder, She Wrote, a weekly series. Do you think people would get tired of it? I mean, they did it with the show you like. They did it with that Cedar Cove with Dylan Neal, who I love. They did it with The Good Witch. It took a series of movies and made it into a series. I'm not sure that would work, but it would, just give us what we want on a more regular basis. I don't know.
What do you mean? Like they did with, because there is a lot of material there. Like they did with, what's the mystery series you used to love years ago?
Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, okay. You're a woman. Okay. All right. So I will be, as soon as we get off, I will hop on and I will look you up on Twitter, and then I will find you on Instagram too.
Okay.
All right. So, well, if no one has
time, because Roxanne told me 35 minutes, people lose interest, and I don't want anybody losing interest.
No, if anybody has a question,
Scott is scolding me for bothering Billy and Adam. And and he still thinks Norman's going to snap. That would be funny if there's a mass murder in Eden Lake.
No. I love Norman as her friendship. They are good with each other. I like their friendship. I always rooted for Mike, but I always rooted for him in the books as well as
I didn't in the books. In the books, I wanted Norman. In the books, I thought Mike was arrogant.
He was, and he wasn't always nice, and I wanted to give him a smack, but I felt that Norman was too fuddy-duddy at times, and it was always a good friendship. There was there weren't any sparks. I need sparks.
Mike wasn't a great guy in the books. I mean, there's one, I think
it was
it was the Fudge Cupcake book, because it's the one that took place with the stolen car parts ring.
Yeah.
And I remember him being especially unkind to her. And
well, she's a pain in the neck. She risks.
Well, and that's another change, we have to think about is he's kind of resigned himself that she's going to stick her nose in all his cases.
Yes. He's good with it now.
Oh, and
All right.
the one thing, wait, one other thing. On the whiteboard with the list of customers, there were characters from at least Mystery 101. I took a screenshot of it so I can see what other movies there were characters, but Betsy Crane, Henry Quirk, or whatever that was. And I think there was one other one that were from Mystery 101, which I thought was kind of cute.
I love that because they did something like that on another show too, where they had a list of suspects or something, and their names were different characters from different shows. I forget which one.
I mean, they know whoever's watching Hannah Swensen is watching Mystery 101.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, I don't think there's anything new on Sunday because they would have been pushing the heck out of it.
Yeah.
But August 22nd, there's a new Aurora, Honeymoon, Honey Murder.
Yeah.
And I think it's the 16th or 17th one. So we'll be back on the 23rd to talk about.
Maybe.
I'll be back. You'll set me up because I can talk about Aurora. Well, I can actually that's the one where the secondary characters are the best.
Your favorite and are the best. They carry the show.
Lillian,
they carry
Arthur, Lynn, the gay nephew.
All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you, friends. Thank you for stopping by.
Scott, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening home to join us.
All right. I'm ending the broadcast. You can stay, Chip. I'm just ending the broadcast.
Oh, okay.